Hey, what's up? It's Chris Young back with my friend Dwight Dunmire. And
hi, everybody.
Dwight, we want to talk a little bit about trade-ins.
Yeah.
But more from both sides of the fence. So if somebody has a unit that they want to trade in, because so many people figured out how great camping was.
Yeah.
Seeing America the safest way possible in their own RV, but maybe they bought that single axle entry level. They want to upgrade to maybe a double axle, mid-tier, maybe a fifth wheel, maybe a motorhome, but they don't understand the process of what do I need to do to my RV? And more importantly, what's going to happen to my RV after it comes to the dealership? And if somebody's looking to buy used, what do we do to make sure you get the best use possible? Because you got to remember, with Camping World having more used inventory than anybody in the world, having over 185 locations nationwide, and being the largest network of family dealerships, you're going to get a great product, whether it's new or used. But you got your first RV, maybe it's time to trade up. Let's talk a little bit about what do we need to do to that RV before we trade it in? And why do we trade it in?
So a lot of people, again, just like you said, that entry level, right? A lot of people want to see if they like camping. Yeah. Sometimes people go for new, but for some families and some people, they want to, well, maybe I should go with used, save a little bit of money to see if I do like it.
Yeah.
So again,
test it out,
see if they like it. People fall in love with it. I mean, I'm a camper myself. I've done these segments, I've talked about them. My kids, it's like Christmas, right?
Yep.
So again, it gets to that point where people are like, okay, I definitely love camping. I want to upgrade, right? And just like even a home, right? So you move your home around, it's no different, right? So this is an opportunity to get into something different. But again, a lot of people think that we're just like new, right?
Yeah,
we sell a lot of new. Well, we sell a lot of used as well, and there's a standard that we have at Camping World that really sets us apart from everybody else. We want to make sure that we're giving you that product that is not a 1987, Brave.
Right.
Nobody.
Nothing against it though. Nothing against it.
No, absolutely not. So again, we just want to make sure that what we're giving to the customers is really what we're going to stand behind. So we have this Keystone Hideout right here, 2017. So actually, 5 model years old. So some of the things that we talk about, because again, a used one, so if somebody purchased this, let's say it was used, now they're ready for that upgrade. So some of the things that they can do, and we can walk around here, that they can get prepared for whenever they're trading it in. So
let's talk. Let's actually start right up here at the front, and we'll just go front to back. If I have an RV that I want to trade in, I want to bring it to Camping World and Gander, what are some things, some tips and tricks for me before I bring it in?
So one of the biggest questions that we ask is, how's the roof, right?
Yes.
Just because as these are going down the road, they're turning and twisting. So one of the things that we ask is, when was the last maintenance that you done? Because we're gonna get on the roof and we're gonna make sure, because that's a big one. So there's sometimes where people don't even realize that they scraped a tree. Well, that's an insurance claim, right? So that's a collision where we can get that roof taken care of and the customer doesn't have to worry about it. But the other aspect of that is, it's no different than changing the oil in your car.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go 100,000 miles without changing the oil. It's no different than the roof. That is one of the main points that we have on an RV, is making sure that roof is solid, because that's gonna be where your leaks mainly come in.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because we actually have some great videos if you visit the Camping World YouTube page. And please, while you're there, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We actually have videos talking about roof maintenance, RMP, when to get up there, how to do it. If you don't feel comfortable, please bring it in. Let our professional service team take care of it for you. But Dwight nailed it. That's number one. Good spot.
Yeah, that is, again, a big part that we look at, because that's going to be the most money as far as anything that we have to look at.
Right.
So, to go off onto what we do, I mean, that's what we do. We check it, and we want to make sure that when we're handing it off to that next customer, that roof is good. We don't want to sell it to that customer with, a bad roof on it.
Or seals blown.
The hunting special or whatever the case may be. I mean, we want people to enjoy camping, and we want to make sure what we're delivering to them is exactly what we say.
So if you're comfortable and if it's safe, get up on the roof, check it out, make sure the seals are good, make sure everything looks okay.
Yeah.
Just
you can do that. I always recommend on a ladder, or you can take it to one of our Camping World locations. They actually have fall protection, and they have ways where they can get on to make sure that it's safe. We're never asking anybody to get up on the roof. But we just want to make sure that it's solid. That's a big thing that we need to look at.
Okay. So roof, and then give me another one. What are
so the seals around, and if it has a slide, which again, this one does not have a slide, but if it was to have a slide, it's those slide seals.
Okay.
Being out here like in the Florida sun, or no matter where you're at, it it really, if you're not taking care of them and doing that maintenance, what do they look like? If they're deteriorating, we want to make sure that they're not deteriorating for that next consumer.
Right.
We want to make sure that it's good to go and it's going to seal properly, because again, when we hand it off to that next customer, we don't want them to have that issue.
Yeah, exactly. Bad seal on the slide means a bad slide.
Yeah, it does. And again, just checking underneath the slide, knocking underneath, has there been any water damage or whatever the case may be. But that's where that maintenance comes in, and making sure that it's good to go. Okay,
awesome. So what about maybe some exterior side seals, panel seals?
So the side seals, so you'll see, this is one that they actually did redo. They made sure that it's good to go. It's nice and sealed tight, so we're not going to get any leakage in there. And again, with these things going down the road and moving and twisting, you always want to check your seals. It's just highly recommended, especially if you're a new camper, or even people that have been camping for a very long time. Myself, every time I'm done with a camping trip, I look at the roof. Did I scratch anything, or how do the seals look around? When we're twisting and turning. So,
as someone who got a vent stuck under a basketball goal, yes, it happened. Yeah, you got to check, because you never know. I didn't know until we tried to pull out. I was stuck under a basketball goal.
Yeah.
I thought I was clear.
Nope. So again, those are really the main concepts that you want to look at on the outside and the exterior of it. Also, making sure that you take care of the outside as far as the finish.
Yes.
So, some of these, especially 5, 6, 7 years old, they tend to fade because people leave them out into the sun without a cover or whatever the case may be. So we want to make sure that it's not that way. We really try to take a look at them and what can we do to bring some of that out. Some of them we can't bring out, but again, it's that attempt, and we want to make sure that you're taking care of it, where we want to give it to that next consumer, and they're ready and saying, I'm good to go camping. I don't need to do anything with that.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to make sure, and we'll get to what you want to do, why you want to buy used from us here in just a minute. But this is great information. If you do have a used unit you want to trade in, Dwight's giving you some great tips. Now, fiberglass versus aluminum sided, obviously you want to check to see if there's any dings in the fiberglass. You want to make sure there's any holes or cuts or D-lams, stuff like that.
So again, one of our technicians will walk around it. They'll see underneath. Again, they'll pat underneath here. Is it solid? What's going on with it?
Any water damage,
because
or anything.
With these, some of those seals, if you're not checking the seals, they'll tend to leak. And again, as you put a bunch of stuff in there, maybe you don't notice it, but again, as you're walking around to see, that's something that we're going to look at. Because again, going to that next consumer, we don't want to give it where their weight distribution sitting in the coach is going to fall through the floor.
Yeah, or they go to slide a cooler and it passes through storage, and boom, it falls through.
And then it's on the ground. So, we always want to look at that. And again, we walk around the coach. I mean, some of the things, the awning fabric is a big one, so they tend to stain. And again, we want to take a look at that. Some stains, of course, will be, but if there's holes and it's ripping and tearing apart, if you want to replace it prior to trading in, it's always good, because that's something we're going to look at, because when you're camping outside.
Yeah, exactly.
So most people do things outside. They want to have an awning. We want to make sure that it's not all torn and ripped and leaks coming through.
Sure. Now, what about maybe the undercarriage? Check that, the wheels, the axles, the whole. Now, obviously, with those Dexter Easy Lube axles, you want to make sure those have also been taken care of. If you need some tips on how to do that, be sure to contact your specialist at Camping World, because that's also a biggie. But just just give it a good once around on the outside.
And we're not expecting it to be new whenever it comes in. With something like this, when you talked about the aluminum versus fiberglass, rocks are going to fly up. You're going to get little dings in it. We understand that. Again, so does that next consumer on what it is. But, if the fiberglass type of travel trailer or fifth wheel or motorhome, whatever the case may be, if there's a gouge and a big hole in it, that's something that we're going to fix. And most people get that, again, covered under their insurance, depending on what it was. But we are definitely going to make sure that we fix that whenever we go around.
Sure. So, we'll take care of that before we put it back on the lot. All right, so on the outside, roof, seals, sidings, awning, doors, everything under, also check underneath if you can. So those are good tips for the outside. What do you say we go take a look on the inside and get some tips from you there?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. All right, Dwight, so we've checked out the outsides. Thank you for those tips there. Now, what about the inside? Obviously, people want to check the HVAC too. So if they got a water heater, a suburban furnace, domestic furnace, whatever, roof AC or wall-mounted AC, they want to check those, make sure they work too. But what else on the inside?
Oh, yeah. So, we definitely want to look at all the appliances and stuff that it has, making sure they're operational. So, again, something that a consumer can do before they bring it in. Does my stove work? Does my oven work? How cool is the air conditioner? Does my water heater work? Is it getting hot? all of those things. One of the other things that we look at is, so, when you walk in, you see that floor.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that there's not a bunch of gouges on it. There's some places out there that can actually repair the lino floors without having to replace the whole thing. But if there's multiple gouges, we have to look at that, because we don't want to give that to the next consumer.
Sure.
So from the floor, we look around and we're going up into the corners, and we're seeing underneath windows, and we're touching to see if is there any soft spots, which again that consumer can do. Is there any soft spots in here? Did it leak and I just don't know about it?
Right.
So after we go through that, and the consumer can go through that as well, and again, it's really no different than just going around and touching and feeling. How's this?
Right. Is there maybe delam? Is there any soft spots, water retention, that type of stuff?
Yeah, we just want to make sure of that, because again, as we give that to that next consumer, we don't want to have those issues. Not saying that we're perfect, but again, we can't see what's behind the walls, but there's a lot of times where we can see it, and we want to make sure that we address it. The other thing is furniture. So furniture is a big one.
Yeah.
Some have that leather where it's peeling and it's cracking.
The leather.
Yeah. So you'll notice in our locations that stuff's going to get recovered.
Yeah.
Because again, we want to make sure that the life of that coach for that next consumer lasts a long time. There's some that we can't. So take a look at this. You got some of the stuff here where it's fraying a little bit, but the couch looks good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not big tears in it. You don't see a bunch of cat scratches on it and all of that stuff. So again, it's just looking at the cosmetics of it. Again, it's not going to be brand new.
Right.
Again, 5 model years old is what we're in right now. But as you take a look around on the outside and even on the inside,
still a good looking coach.
It is a good looking coach. But again, all of those things are what we're looking for that a consumer can address as well.
Right.
We don't recover in house. We have to find a company to recover it. Same thing that a consumer can do. Say, hey, I want more money for my trade. I need to do this. I need to maybe recover this.
Sure.
Oh, the table's broke. Maybe I go ahead and see if I can find a table.
Right.
You can order through our parts and accessories store. There's different things that they can do to get more money for their trade.
Yeah.
Because we want to give all the money we can for that trade, because again, we want to continue that going. We want consumers to upgrade and get into either a new unit or a newer used unit.
Yes.
Or maybe something different, maybe same year, but it's into a fifth wheel versus a travel trailer.
Yeah.
So we have all of those aspects that we look at.
And that's one thing too I want to emphasize more than anything. At Camping World in Gander, we are not going to be beaten on any trade-in.
Nope.
We're going to give you the most money available, guaranteed, for that trade-in. So if you have things like a T-mold on your countertop and maybe it's coming off, if you want to fix that, by all means, if you want to get more money for it, you can. We also have the Design Center.
Yes.
So if you want to go crazy, you want to go haywire, and you say, this 1977 look isn't going to work for me, maybe we go with a little bit more of a rustic, modern approach. We absolutely have the Design Center and specialists at our locations that'll help you go in and redesign not only the unit that you want to trade in, but if you're buying one that's used and you say, oh, this hideout is great, but I want new furniture.
Yeah.
You can actually tack that on when you buy it.
You can. So a lot of people are doing that, where they purchase a used unit from us, and they say, hey, I want to do something a little different, kind of like that DIY.
Yeah.
The difference is the DIY is in our service center, and our parts.
You can
and accessory.
DIY, but our folks will do it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people like that, with the professionals be able to do it. So again, there's different things that they can do if they go to get into a new one, or what they can do with their current one.
Right.
Something else, and one of the final things that we look at, and again, as we continue to grow as a company and in this process, is mattresses.
Yes.
Right. So we
That's
really
a
have
biggie.
looked at putting the mattresses, newer mattresses, in these coaches. Where if it's a 17 coach, we want to put that mattress in there.
Right.
We want somebody to sleep on a new mattress, not a used mattress.
Sure.
So again, just as we go through this, that's what we're looking at.
So and that's an important part. So if it's a used unit, if it's a trade-in, we're going to take care of that mattress as well.
Yes, sir.
We're going to put a new one in there.
Yep.
That's huge. And I got to tell you, the great thing about whether you want to trade one in or you're buying one that has been traded in, like Dwight has said the entire video, if you walk through it and take a look at it, so are our folks. Our specialists are trained on what's best for that RV, what's best for you as the trader and the tradee.
Yep.
So if you're going to get that unit, you want to upgrade to a new one, you can sleep and rest well knowing that the unit you're going to bring in is not only we're going to give you the best value for, we're also going to put the best in it before somebody else passes it along. Because at the end of the day, it is where people make memories. It's where families go to really enjoy the outdoors, go see America the safest way possible. And with over 185 locations and more used inventory than anybody in the world, I pretty much can guarantee, and I'm sure Dwight will too,
yeah,
there's an RV out there for you that'll fit your lifestyle and your budget guaranteed. So if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to any of our folks. Bring that unit by. If you don't want to trade it in yet, but you're thinking about trading it in, bring it in. Let our folks walk around it with you. They'll tell you some tips and tricks on what you can do to get the most value out of it before you bring it back. And also, if you want to buy a used one, check out campingworld.com or just come visit us. Dwight, thank you so much, my man. Anything else about trade-ins you want to throw out there?
Nope, that's it. We're just going to continue on and doing what we do and, you know, help as many consumers as we can.
And every day it's going to get better and better. So we look forward to seeing your unit and you getting your new unit or new used unit soon.